Bill Rohrbach says that writing a novel is kind of like driving a train. You start out rolling along, but as more cars get added, the going gets difficult.
Rohrbach, who lives in Maine, ought to know. He's out with a new book, his 6th novel. It's called Lucky Turtle, and it's about a teenager who's sent to a reform camp in Montana, falls in love, and then moves on with life. The story has a main character who is a teenage girl.
Yes.
And the story is told through her. How hard is it for you to tell a story that sounds authentic through the eyes of a teenage girl?
That was, I didn't find it hard. I just felt like we're people, right? So I can trust the most of my human, I can't trust a lot of my male stuff, I think, but I also had friends read it, and women would read it and say, you're getting this, you're not getting that, or this is ridiculous. It took it away from any chance of autobiography. And yet the story is, a lot of the stuff is stuff that happened to me when I was a teenager.
What did you look back on from your own teenage years and tap into for this book?
Well, the book takes place, that part of the book, in Montana, and she's been sent to a reform camp. When I was a teenager, my mother sent me to live with my uncle, and because she thought he'd straighten me out. He was a minister in Helena, Montana. And I went out there and expecting to have an iron heel on my neck, but he was such a great guy. He was such an iconoclast, and got fired from his church for preaching against Vietnam. But he was a fisherman, and he wanted to go out in the wilderness, and we got in his Land Rover, drove into the wilderness, and he said, if we can get this Land Rover stuck, I won't have to preach tomorrow. And the assistant minister needs some practice, you know. And he'd go, and we'd fish, you know. We would purposely get the truck stuck, and it would take days to get out.
You dedicated the book to him, your Uncle Bill. Are you named after him?
I am, yeah. Late in life, he had terrible Alzheimer's and stopped talking for a couple of years. My mother's sisters went to Montana. They heard he wasn't talking, and the two of them, 80 and 90 years old, went and picked up their little brother, brought him to Glacier National Park, and started singing hymns. And although he hadn't spoken for 2 years, he sang all the hymns, and they sang hymns for 2 days. And that was his final week, I think. So
that's extraordinary.
Yeah, that was who he and that family, 8 siblings, were all these, it's a different era.
Do you actually enjoy writing when you sit down at the keyboard? Are you in a good mood and happy to go, or do you sometimes have to kick yourself in the butt to get going?
A little of both, you know. Sometimes I am really excited and sit down and go, you know. I know where I'm going that day.
So if the story is working, then you're pretty happy. And if you're not happy, it's quite possibly because the story is not really working.
Very often. Unfortunately, I'm subject, like most writers, to delusions of grandeur and also pits of despair. So often in the pits of despair, I'll write my very best stuff and have no clue that I've done that, you know, because I'm so like, oh, it's useless. On the other hand, some days I'll go, wow, that was 20 pages today. And then you go back the next day and go, nope.
That's not good.
You were having fun, but that's not going to work.
Have you had the experience yet of Googling Lucky Turtle and coming up with a review from the Lucky Turtle Cafe in Fort Wayne, Indiana?
Oh my God. What?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yes, that happened to me just this morning as I was getting ready for this interview.
Okay, I got to send them a copy. That's great. Yeah,
Apparently, it has a good salad bar.
So does my book. That's crazy. Well, someone else sent me a link to Lucky Turtle Vaping Supplies. They have a great logo. So, I mean, you know, what can you do?
And I misspoke. It's not the Lucky Turtle Cafe in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's the Lucky Turtle Grill, in case you're making plans to go check it out.
Right.
Bill Rohrbach is going to be talking about his new novel, Lucky Turtle, with another acclaimed Maine writer, Richard Russo. That is happening Wednesday evening at Bunker Brewing in Portland. The event is sponsored by Print, a bookstore in Portland.
You'll find more information about that conversation in the 207 section of our News Center Maine website and our app. When we